Hey, I'm Madonna, and this is David, and we're doing your tip of the day.
Well, hello everybody.
We just did a balance for the lovely Sonia, and we were thinking about hope. So we thought that would be our tip of the day.
Okay.
So, from a holistic counselling perspective, hope therapy is empowering.
Well, there's a few different things you can look up. I can't remember the founder of Hope Therapy, but basically, there's one Australian author called Dennis O'Hara, and he's written a book called Hope in Counselling and Psychotherapy. And during that process, I mean, all counsellors can use it when they know how, but it's basically there's these things in there called holding hope for a client. And so we work out first, I can't remember, but it's hope in the client. So hope that the client in their person. So we have hope for the person. And then we have hope with the person, and that's hoping that they can integrate that into their life.
Nice.
Right. And then the next one is hope in the process. So when we, get that sync with the client, work out which process would be better for which would be best. And then we have hope with that. And the fourth part is hope in the regenerational nature of the universe and nature, that all things will pass and eventually this will come like nature does. We have winter and then finally spring comes out and it sort of bursts again. And so as counsellors, we can hold that hope for the client while they're going through the changes, because with change there's some instability. And by holding that hope, eventually when the process works its way through, we go into that natural regeneration.
That's really
Isn't
nice.
that beautiful?
It's reminding me of a story, and I don't mean to take away from what we're chatting about, but when I was learning massage therapy, and so we're talking over 30 years ago, and I had not heard of things like Reiki or anything about visualization. I was so young, I hadn't heard of any of that at that point. And the lady who taught remedial massage therapy, what she used to do, because she was also a Reiki healer, and a few other things. But what she would do at the end of a session, at the end of the day, would light a candle, and then she would just pray for each of the people that came in that day. And she would visualize what they wanted, which I suppose is a manifestation of hoping, holding that hope for the client that they're going to get to where they want it.
Which is their goals.
Which is, yeah, absolutely. So she would visualize what they wanted for them in a way of prayer. So anyway, there turned out.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I meditate and think about, you meditate
Beautiful.
with your client. And
Yeah,
it's
nice.
normal because you go through what they talk about and you want to reflect. It's a reflective thing.
Yeah.
Carry on, excuse me.
No. And basically she had this little dude in France at the time. So he was like 4 or 5 years old. He had multiple tumours all over his body. His aunt or his grandma or someone was here in Australia and had gone to her and said, he's dying. He's in a coma. Is there anything you can do? But pretty much the doctors have allowed you to pray for him and nothing else.
Right.
So what she would do at the end of the day, when she lit her little candle, she would start thinking about him. And what she ended up, each time she would think about him, she couldn't get past the fact that he was on his way out off this planet, until about the third or fourth day, when she started going, nah, this is not this little boy's time to leave the planet. And she started starting to feel the positivity. No, he's going to make it. He's going to make it. And started praying for that. On the same day that she came to that realization, he woke up in hospital and he asked who the lady with the candle was.
Right.
And the next question was, who's God?
Really?
So that was a story I was told 30-something years ago. And ever since, I've been thinking I should light a candle for my clients at the end of every day.
Oh, right. Is that right? Is it? Okay. And
I've never done it, but I've always thought it was really lovely.
Come with that little boy, or we didn't know?
He survived.
Oh, he survived.
Absolutely. He survived. The tumours.
Sometimes people get some incredible, but there's links to that. Like if you think back into Christianity and Jesus is the healer.
Yes.
And so in that way, we've got St. Jude, who is help of the hopeless. And St. Jude, I think St. Jude was the person who went after Jesus passed away. A king wrote to Jesus and he couldn't attend to him, and Jude went to maybe it was the king of Albania or something. He went and healed him on behalf of Jesus.
Wow.
I read that story recently. Very interesting.
Yeah, right.
But another thing about hope that in counselling is that in family counselling, you have this concept called differentiation. And that's when family members are, they're different, they're interdependent. They're not too close, not too far away. They've interdependent relationships. And and the more differentiated people are, apparently the more hopeful they are. And so when we have these fused relationships in family or too distant cut-offs, those things can interfere with hope. But people who can manage their relationships in a more of a, what would you call that? Interdependent. So, it's like not too dependent, not too,
Yeah.
that is a very hopeful combination in relationships. In
Yeah.
family therapy, that's a goal that you work with people to become differentiated, and a lot of positive things come through out of that box when you work on it.
Because people can have very entwined connections to their family members that are not serving
and
them.
so much the opposite of hope is despair. And so, and the thing
which is where we started today with Sonia.
Right, because when you're dealing with critical clients, they're often falling into despair.
Yeah.
And so they're falling into the polar opposite of hope. Yeah. And so to hold hope for people as a therapist is a really nice thing. You just hold, because when they go through the process, they improve, and then little bits of light start to come, and then the hope starts coming back for people. Beautiful.
Excellent. Well, our tip of the day was longer than a minute today.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thanks for being patient.
Hey, no. And it is fun to be human.
Mm-hmm.
Fun to be human. Have a great one, everyone. Bye.